Oh, by the way, let me know if you want to vote on anything at all. If not, no big deal. It's not a requirement or anything, but if you do want to vote on something, let me know. I'll get you down. Also from the donation from last night. Never was there a more appropriate song than Water and Water Water, where I can't drink the damn water. But yeah, I pressed start, I pressed L and R and select and the R3 and AB triangle backwards, upside down, blah, 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 nothing. Nothing lets me drink the damn water.
Water and water and water, water and water and water, water, water and water and water, water, water and water and water, water,
water and water and water, water, water and water and water, water. Oh, that was the intent, was water all along. I get you, I get you. Thank you very much for the $8 donation. Thank you very much. And again, let me know if you have a vote preference. If not, no big deal. A fish head as a random item? Now that's pretty legit, actually. It's a permanent stat item. Yeah, no worries. Just at me whenever you figure it out, and if you don't want one, that's fine too. Down. If only you could do that. No, you're fine. You're fine, Viking. You're good, dude. Wisdom seed. Wow, the loot in the desert is disgustingly good, though. So there's that. Almost there. Let's do like one more little pixel. Yeah. Now we go east. Which is really easy to determine what east is because you just look at the ground and you can see the texturing has like this straight line to it, so it's pretty easy to see. But yeah, I looked all around in camp. I looked over my entire inventory. I looked over. You know, I'm not gonna save it honestly, because if I don't have an inn at the end of the camp and I have to do like some kind of dungeon with 50 max HP, I'm pretty much just gonna die. So. That's one of the great things about like having immaculate capture though. Like this is a near perfect pixel capture, and because of that I can see the textures really easily on these lower resolution games, and it's easy to see the lines and to know exactly what east and north and west is. I forget how long I was supposed to go east though. Oh, until I can't see the western star anymore. Silent Hill, you got it. Goody goody. Still facing east. Honestly, this just takes a long time anyway. Hey, what's up, Insane Man? Enjoying a super duper fun time through the desert. It's just, honestly, even if I can get out of this and there's an inn right at the other side and I can get my full restore, this is just like excessively long and boring anyway. Just takes too long. I mean, I get it. It's trying to make you feel like you're trekking through the desert. It's cool, but they could make it a little more difficult to navigate and then make it much shorter, so that you mess up once or twice and just repeat it or something, you know. It still makes it feel like you're trekking across the desert. I don't know if it's a good idea to fight this thing, but. Paralyzed by the heat. What's modulating phase? It's just a Crisis Core meme. It's just a joke from Crisis Core. Basically, if you play Crisis Core, 90% of the time it's just modulating phase, and then you get some slot machine nonsense, and then you get a power up or nothing, depending on it. It's a really bad mechanic, and Crisis Core was like mostly aggravating to play because of it. You're not missing out on much, don't worry. It was so flashy, I know, right? Like, 7 really loves Crisis Core. And there's a lot of people that have a love for it too. To me, it was like super duper forced fan service with no real value and really awful storytelling that retconned a lot of the already perfectly fine FF7 lore and plot. And yeah, it's just a mission selector. That's it. You know, you have a list of missions, and you just kind of pick from a menu, and then you go into a generic room that's repeated many times over the course of the game, and then do your mission. And they just reference FF7 over and over and over again. Have I played Dirge of Cerberus? Yeah, also really bad. Well, the gameplay of Dirge of Cerberus was okay. The real flaw of Dirge of Cerberus was the story. Whew! Yeah, how easily you got through the game depended greatly on your little slot machine mechanic. Alright, there's the West Star again. Man, there were some hilariously hokey parts in Dirge of Cerberus, though, let me tell you. Like, the frickin', there's this, like, chasm you need to jump because you're being chased by people. And you don't go off a ramp or anything, and you're in this really, really heavy van. Like, think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles van kind of thing, like really heavy, lots of gadgets and stuff on it. And instead of like hitting a ramp to go over the chasm, which would at least have some, you know, like realism to it, not really, because you don't really get a lot of momentum off of the, or air off of that, but you just lift off the ground. That's it. It's like imagine just pulling up on the steering wheel and you fly over a chasm. Oh man. Yeah, you also cut missiles in half. There's a mini game where you cut missiles in half to prevent a town from being carpet bombed, and then directly after that cutscene, the town gets carpet bombed anyway. I'm not kidding. It's so bad. It's so freaking, oh god, it's not even good bad. The story and the mini games and everything about that game. Like the combat was the only somewhat redeeming part of the game, but then it was bogged down by modulating phase every freaking half second. And then there is an item to eliminate the slots, but it's super duper hidden in a side quest, like ultra hidden in a side quest. Optional quest. Basically it's just run around and smash X, and you better know exactly what you're coming up against, because if you don't, you can legitimately get soft locked in the game, because there are things that take 0 damage except from specific skills, and if you don't have those skills equipped, which your loadout is very limited, then you're just done and you got to redo everything over again. Also on top of that, there is instant death mechanics all over the place, and really debilitating debuffs that you have no idea that you need to protect against, or how to get protection from them until it's too late. It's man, it is like, if it wasn't like, there's some redeeming qualities to the combat, but because of a lot of that stuff, man, it is just really a struggle to play that game. And then, of course, the story is absolute hot garbage. But yeah. Almost got that thing down. I sound salty? No, I'm fine. I mean, I didn't like Crisis Core. I thought it sucked and it ruined a lot of FF7 plot and lore. But I'm not salty about it. It's fine, whatever. People are gonna like what they're gonna like. The only problem I have is that, like, there's this... The only problem I have with Crisis Core is that it retcons a lot of plot and introduces really shitty characters. Perhaps I need some water. I mean, yeah. I could really use some water, but the game does like less than 0 to tell you how to use the freaking water. So yeah, I could use some water, really could. But I've looked in all over my menu, all over camp. I've talked to everybody. I've freaking done everything I can to figure out how to use the water. Nothing. So screw it. Don't need no stinking water. That's the North Star. Oh, it's almost down. Yeah, Crisis Core was the modulating phase thing, yeah. There are worse side games than Crisis Core. Yeah, I mean, Dirge of Cerberus is worse for sure. I'd say Lightning Returns is worse. Well, I think from a gameplay perspective, Lightning Returns is actually better than Crisis Core. But from a story perspective, Lightning Returns is worse. Almost. Revenant Wings was definitely worse, for sure. So most of the Final Fantasy side games are only bad in comparison to the main numbered Final Fantasies, but like Crisis Core and Dirge of Cerberus were just bad, and Crystal Bears was bad, yeah, just bad. Oh, and the After Years, yeah, that was also bad. I have 6 HP. That's false north. There's true north. There's west. I don't really count FFT or WAF being side games though, because like they're their own games in their own universes that were developed, you know? Like we're talking all these games that we say are bad, they're like sequel spin-off games, you know? They're all these sort of like extending the storyline unnaturally kind of thing. I see a town over there. But it's on fake north. Wonder if it's just there to debate you. My top favorite Final Fantasies, yeah, it's Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus, The After Years, and Revenant Wings. Easy top 5. Alright, it's gone. Now we go north again. Well, hopefully I don't get a bad encounter because everybody has 1 HP, so if I get hit, I die. I mean, X2 had excellent combat, one of the best combat systems ever seen. It's a very good combat system. Like, yeah, it reuses all the resources and all the minigames are hot garbage and the story is super duper omega trash and they ruin Yuna as a character. Yeah, there's definitely some big ol' flaws to X2, but like, at least there's a lot of redeeming qualities to X2, you know? You can call X2 a good game. You just can't call it a good story. And good game can actually carry a bad story. Good story can't really carry a bad game that well. "13.2 is your favorite combat ever?" I mean, 13.2's combat is okay. If they gave you an actual third party member instead of it being a random monster, I would like it a lot more. But I'm not overly fond of the whole monster is your party member mechanic in game like a lot of games have, because there's always this like constant need to replace the party member because it's like, oh, you're higher level, you get into an area and now you need to replace your monster and level them all up and build them up again, and it's just blah, blah. You know what? I'm actually gonna save it because I can use the Rakta to take me back at any time, so yeah. Yeah, the X2 combat system can't save X2. Maybe to some, yeah. It's really hard to play it. You feel embarrassed playing it. You really do. It's like, you're just like, Yeah, pretty much what Coco said about Octopath is true. Everything about that game is fantastic except for the story is super duper, super trash. But yeah, I think gameplay is by far the most important aspect of a game because, you know, there's a lot of times where you can play a game and just not care about it, like the story or the whatever, and you just want to play the game because it's fun. I mean, look at Mega Man games. Mega Man games have two things: gameplay and OST. I mean, the visuals are pretty impressive too, but I mean, that's it. Like, it's just a good game. The end, you know? And I think that's important to know. A good game can carry a bad story or an uninteresting story or whatever, but nothing else can carry a game other than gameplay. Honestly, I think a lot of what Octopath lacked in story was really just the quality of writing. It was just very generic baby's first story kind of writing. I really feel that the writer, whoever the writer was for Octopath, was either not a professional writer or this was like their first bigger project that they'd ever worked on. One or the other. Or they're just not a good writer, and they are a professional writer. That's a possibility too. Haters shall doth hateth. If I had to make this desert, like all other things being the same, I would just reduce the amount of time spent in the desert by about 2/3. So like 3 days becomes 1 day, because this is just kind of super Resident Sleeper. It's not hard to find your way through it. It's just hard to stomach the time spent. Actually, I would say Primrose was the one that started out the worst because it does the biggest faux pas of storytelling that I think ever exists is where the game does not build a relationship to a character, then kills them off and has them have like a 5-hour cutscene of how much they meant to them and how much of a friend they are, and this is such a sad time, while the enemies are just watching them have their moment. I hate that shit so much. Games starting out a story with killing someone off and trying to make it a feelsy moment just doesn't work. You need to build that character up. And not only that, but she gets like stabbed in the frickin' back and then thrown off like a 40-foot cliff. And she's like, oh, dang, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. This hurts. This will be pretty bad. I don't think I'm gonna make it. By the way, you're my best friend in the world, and here's my entire backstory while I'm dying, and I should have just like been instantly dead. But hey, I hate that. I hate it so much. Like, Berseria did that. Every time a character died, they get a half-hour cutscene about their backstory and how much everything means to them and why they are the way they are and what their favorite color of socks are and where they go shopping on the weekend. And you know, the one time Timmy, you know, scared them with a caterpillar in their hair and just, you're dead, just die. It's so much more impactful when somebody just bam, dead, and they don't get a chance to have their redemption story told or their backstory told or whatever. And not only that, but you need to build up character relationship to the player. And it's just like, listen, there's a game that everybody knows about where a character dies that's not gonna be named. And what happens? They don't get their freaking 5-hour cutscene, and it's super impactful. It like just leaves you in shreds. I was trying not to say it, man. I don't know why. Come on, dude. Can I just be ambiguous and everybody knows what I'm talking about and someone doesn't have to come out and say it for once, ever? I don't think I've ever had it to where I'm just like, hey, this character that shall not be named, and then someone's like, oh, you mean this character? Can you just, come on, give me one time. But yes, they don't get their half-hour freaking cutscene. Oh, you mean everything, this is all my backstory, this is my little poignant anecdote, blah, blah, blah. It's fine, just, I mean, I was intentionally vague. I could have just said it, right? You know, so like, you know, read the room a little bit, man. That's all. Shouldn't we be able to see the Oasis by now? No, there's no statute of limitations on spoilers, dude. You don't just get to say, oh, the game's old, it's okay to spoil. No, you're wrong. I wonder if we could see better from the top of that hill. Oh boy, are we seriously gonna have a boss fight? Well, I guess I'll be doing this desert all over again. Man mode. AP 0, huh? So if I did like that and then AP's, oh, that's not AP 0. That is not AP. Oh, AP. Yeah, never mind. I see what. Okay, never mind. I see what's going on here. It's AP. The total AP was 0 at the time. Yeah, I actually landed the defense down. Well, I was hoping that I'd get all the HP back, but I didn't. I got a power food, nice. Dude, I'm getting the godly RNG, you know why? Because I'm going to die. I wonder if I could use an hourglass on somebody else. I'll but user for 3 turns. Yeah, thing. I wanted to use an hourglass on Ryu and I forgot. Well. The game not only doesn't tell you how to use the water, it apparently hides the ever-living hell out of it. Because I looked everywhere for it. I looked everywhere for the water and I couldn't figure out where the hell it was, so